Here are 3 ways to look like a tech genius with PowerPoint. Number 1, use a live poll. If you ask a question, instead of having the audience shout out their answers or writing their responses on a flip chart, have them respond on their phones or computers so you can see the results in real time. Plus, how cool is it for a word cloud of responses to slowly appear on your slide? Number 2, use a live text box, a box you can actually write in even when your slide is in presentation mode. You can use this to capture audience responses instead of a live poll, for example, and you can even do things like changing scores real time if you're playing a PowerPoint game. Number 3, spice up your slides. Don't just show boring slides that put people to sleep, spice them up with some stunning animations and unexpected effects to keep your viewers engaged throughout the presentation. So try out one of these tips in your next presentation and you will be cool and definitely stand out. You'll also have lots of fun and get tons of love from your audience. Want to know how it's done? Stay tuned to find out. So let's dig into the live poll first. Back when I was in college, one of my professors, my very last year, required us to use a student response system, or what we called clickers. And this is still around today, but basically it's kind of like a remote control that you use to point at the screen, and then the presentation will actually capture your responses and then display them on the screen. Technology has evolved a lot since then, and my favorite type of polling software today is any kind that allows you to vote on your computer, on your phone, or through any mobile device, through both web and texting. So it allows you to be really flexible in how you capture your responses. And at least at the time that I'm making this video, very few presenters actually use this type of technology in their presentations, especially compared to how many presentations occur in the world every single day. So if you use it, you will definitely impress your audience and stand out. In terms of the best actual program for this, there are so many out there and more are popping up every single day. But the one that I'll show you today is the one that I personally use, and it's called Poll Everywhere. It can be used for polls through a web page, but what's really cool is that it comes as a PowerPoint add-in as well. The Surface has a nice free version that gives you the basic features and many types of paid versions as well that give you lots more features, such as more responses being captured, greater customization, and more moderator control over the responses. For demonstration, I'll use the free version today so that anyone can do what I show here, and you can always upgrade in the future if you want more options. Okay, so let's dig in. So the first thing you need to do is make an account with them. So we go to polleverywhere.com, then go to sign up right here in the top right corner, then click on presenting, and it takes you to the sign up form here. And just fill in all of your information here, and then once you submit it, you'll get an email to your email account that looks like this. And you just click on the confirm link and you should be good to go. After this step, you can actually use this right away from the web or from a mobile device, but it looks especially cool when used right in PowerPoint itself with the use of the add-in. So let's take a look at that right now. To get this add-in, you can go directly to PowerPoint. And one very important note is that if you're going to be using another computer to present other than your own, you'll need to install the add-in on that computer as well so that you have it there when you present. And I currently have PowerPoint 2016 or PowerPoint 365, the subscription. So the way to do this from here is to just go to the Insert tab, then go to Store, and then type in Poll Everywhere to get the add-in. And then just hit the Trust button here. And since I already have it installed, I won't actually click it right now, but I just want to show you how to do it. And now for earlier versions of PowerPoint, the easiest way to download it is if you go to the website, polleverywhere.com again, and then do it from there. From here, go to take a tour and then go to the presenter add-in here, then download. Once you get to this screen, it should really save or open automatically. So whatever browser you're using, just go to downloads and then hit run, then install it, then follow the install instructions and then open it up in the ribbon within PowerPoint. Once you have it installed in whatever version you're using, just open it up, and in my case, I'll go under My Add-ins and then choose Poll Everywhere. You should see a menu like this and then choose whatever type of poll you want. So let's choose the multiple choice poll to use for the example. And if you're logging in for the first time, the next screen you should see is a login screen, so just enter your information there. But since I'm already logged in, my next screen after clicking the multiple choice poll will be this, a pre-made poll. So just change it however you like, and I'll change it to the one that we had in the example, which is, what is your favorite animal? So just change the fields here. And then you can also choose how many times people can respond. And in my case, I just want them to respond once. And then hit insert new poll, and there is your basic poll right there. Now let's just resize it by clicking and dragging to fit the screen. I don't know why, but it always starts off really big for some reason when you first insert it. Okay, so now that we have this, let me show you some of the options here that we have on the side for customization. So just mouse over on the right side and then click this top button here called Visual Settings. Okay, so here you have a variety of customization options. So for example, you can change it from a bar chart to a column chart, and fonts, title formatting. One thing I wanted to show you is the how to respond. That refers to the text just under the title about the response options. And you can make that larger or smaller, for example, so I'll show you that here. For the background, you can also add an image if you like, although I personally think that that just clutters up your background and makes it harder to see. So I actually, in general, would not recommend using a background. You can also change the way the response totals are displayed. So for example, right now I have them as a percentage, but you can also change it to a count. So it shows the quantity of responses received for every choice. Let me show you what the column chart looks like really fast. And then in terms of these other options here, this one actually allows you to open the poll so that responses can be collected. Currently, it's not active, so nobody can vote right now, even if they wanted to. The eye icon lets you hide the responses from the audience until you're ready to reveal them. So this makes it so that the audience isn't biased by others' responses while they're actually voting. The lock icon lets you lock the poll so that no other responses can be received. And by the way, in the free version, currently you're only allowed 25 responses, which should be enough for kind of the average classroom. But if you are doing a larger conference room and you want to get more than just a small sampling, you want to get everybody's responses, then you might want to consider upgrading. And this box icon here just lets you clear all results if you like. And let's change this back to a bar chart. Before we open up the poll, let me make the title just a little bit bigger. It's kind of bothering me that the answer choices are bigger than the title itself. So let's go ahead and close visual settings there by just clicking on the same icon. And now it's showtime. Let's go ahead and open it up. At the top, you can see the options for how to respond. And by the way, the response code at the top, in my case, PSpice419, includes the first and last name that you put in when you registered plus some numbers. So be strategic about what you put in when registering for your account. So let me show you how the real-time responses work. And the easiest way to do that for me is probably going to be to show you on my browser and on my phone at the same time. So I'll do my best to show kind of a split screen of that. So let's start with my browser first. So on any mobile device that has internet, you just type in pollev.com/pspice419, and that's going to give you access to any poll that I currently have open. So this is what I get here. It's a very simple, easy to use interface, and you can just click the response that you want. So let's say I hit dog, And you can see how the graph changes real time. And you can actually take back responses if you accidentally hit the wrong button, and then I can revote. So it's really easy to do on a browser. So this might be a little tricky, but I'm going to try to show you on my phone as well. So just like it says, we put the recipient number as 22333, and then we just text the word PSpice 419 to it. And then you get that little message pop up there. And then you can just go ahead and text the letter of your vote. And you can see how that instantly changed as well. And you can also do this on your phone's browser as well. So just go to pollev.com/pspice419, just like we did before, and just choose your response. And as you can see, the graph changes by a percentage because now we have essentially 2/3 of the audience choosing monkey and just 1/3 choosing dog. So again, it's great because your audience sees their responses captured real time, just like this, which makes a really cool experience for everyone. And that's basically it. Now, one other thing I just wanted to show you, just because it's super, super cool, is the word cloud. So here, let's just remove our previous poll just to start with a clean slate here. And then let's go again to My Add-ins and choose Poll Everywhere. And once again, it's gigantic, but I'm not going to resize it this time because you'll actually be able to see this even when it's big. So let me do just a really quick demo here and go ahead and open this up. And again, doing the split screen, you can see that if I just put in a bunch of words, they start to appear on the screen. And people can vote or put in their responses as many times as they want. And the more a word gets submitted, the larger it is in the word cloud. Now, one danger with this is that you could have kind of a bad apple in your audience, somebody who is trying to maybe embarrass you or do something weird to get attention, and they could actually write some bad words in here. They could actually influence the word cloud just by themselves. So here's a quick little demonstration. On the free version, you cannot control audience responses, but on some of the paid versions, you can. So if you plan to use word clouds a lot in your presentations, then I definitely consider upgrading. So hopefully that gives you some idea of how you can increase audience engagement and participation with live polling. And Poll Everywhere is one out of many tools that you can use for this. So definitely find a way to try it out in a future presentation. And in the meantime, let's move to trick number 2, which is a live text box. A live text box lets you type on the screen while still being in presentation mode, which could be an unexpected surprise for your audience. You can use this both for things that are part of your presentation. So for example, if you're writing on the board or on a flip chart as you're talking and making your presentation, or you can also use it to capture audience responses instead of the whiteboard or flip chart as an alternative to a live poll as well. And what's really cool is that, for example, if you're playing a game, you can actually write down the scores for people or other parts in the game on the screen itself. This is a much cleaner, more fun alternative to just writing and erasing scores on a board over and over again. As an example, I've actually used a game like this with corporate presentations, and what I like to do is divide everyone into 3 teams and actually take everyone's company headshot, if it's available, and crop out the background and put the face of each person onto one of these stations. People love seeing their faces actually here, so if you have the chance to do that, definitely try it out. And by the way, you can actually download this game slide for free with the live text boxes already included from the link in the video description. And you can also get the slides from the front end of this video as part of my spicy slide pack, also listed in the video description. Now let's see how to get this text box in here from start to finish. The first step is you have to enable the developer tab in whatever PowerPoint version you're using. I'll show you how to do this here in 2016, and this way should work in all versions down to 2010. And for 2007, it's a little bit different, so I'll post a link for how to do that in the video description. So for versions 2010 onward, what you do is you go to File, then Options, then Customize Ribbon. And then on the right hand side, you should have a thing that says Customize the Ribbon Main Tabs. And just go down here and check the Developer box. And then hit OK. You should now have the Developer tab up here in your ribbon. So just go up and hit that. Once the Developer tab is open, you can just go to the text box option here and just draw it in like you would a regular text box. Now go to the Properties box over here, and there are a ton of things to play with here. To keep it simple, let's just look at a few of these here. Enter key behavior. This allows the enter key to actually be used as an enter key and go down a line, which is really useful. So just make this true. Font. This allows you to change the font to whatever one you want, as well as change the size of it. So let me change it here. Multi-line allows a text box to actually have different lines in it, which is also useful, so make that true as well. And then scroll bars just allow scroll bars to be inserted whenever the text spills over. So make that both. Okay, so that should be good for now to start our first text box. And our text box is essentially done. So let's hit presentation mode and see how it works. And here is your live text box. It's in presentation mode, and I'm actually typing right on the screen. And let's try out the scroll bar feature. And since we made enter key behavior true, we can now hit enter multiple times and you can see the scroll bar on the right side of the screen. And that's pretty much it. There's your basic text box, and you can use this in many different ways. And let's take a look at one potential application of this right now. So let's say you have kind of a pros and cons slide that you want to do real time with your audience. And these are text boxes as well. They're just colored black. And let's hit presentation mode, and here's just an example of how, should you start your own business. And I'm just going to type in random pros and cons here. So this gives you a nice way to interact with your audience and kind of co-create the slide together. But this makes it much nicer than writing on a whiteboard or something. So let's get out of here, and as you can see, the text is saved onto these text boxes, and but you actually can't edit it right now. So you have to go back into presentation mode if you want to do that. And here, let's take a look again at the game example. So again, these numbers here are live text boxes. So if we go to presentation mode here, we can edit them as well. By the way, this does not work in this kind of presentation mode where you can see the notes and the upcoming slide. That's just unfortunately one of the constraints of this right now. And that's essentially it. Try this out in your next presentation, and I'll bet that at least some people in the audience will be really impressed that you're writing on the screen while you're in presentation mode. And again, you can download this slide with the live text box that's included for free from the link in the description. Now let's move to the last techie technique, which is using spicy animations in your presentations. This is essentially what my entire channel is all about, so check out all of my other videos for inspiration on that. In particular, the techniques I show are really good for opening slides or something at the front of your presentation, because it kind of sets the tone that this will not be your average presentation. This will be a much, much more interesting one. Let me show you, for instance, how I combined two fairly simple techniques from my tutorials into some interesting front-end slides for a presentation that I did recently. The presentation was to a group of business people about how to be more strategic leaders and thinkers in their jobs. So my title slide here was a businesswoman looking into the sky and toward the future. For client privacy, I've removed the text from this, which was on the left side of her face. But what's cool is that I used my moving background technique listed in the video description by removing the background of the woman's head and making the sky, which is a separate picture, move slowly behind her in a continuous loop. The continuous loop is actually from my spinning globe video, also listed in the video description. The result is a subtle but pretty cool animation effect. So while I was getting my microphone hooked up and testing everything with the event organizers, they had this slide just playing at the front of the room. And although it's subtle, it's much nicer than just looking at a boring static slide while you're waiting for the presentation to begin. Let me show you one more slide from the same presentation for which I used a crazy red spinning world with the words, "Our world is rapidly changing." Again, I could have shown some boring bullets or a simple picture here, but this crazy red spinning world makes the message much more powerful and creates a sense of urgency around my message that we need to think and operate very differently going forward, because what made us successful in the past won't necessarily make us successful in this rapidly changing world that we live in. And the Spinning Red Earth is just a video that I inserted in here, by the way, which you can download for free from motionbackgroundsforfree.com. That's motionbackgroundsforfree.com, which is also listed in the video description. So those are just two simple ways that I add spice to my own presentations, and check out all my other tutorials for many more techniques you can mix and match and use in your own projects as well. Well, I hope this video has given you some new ideas to incorporate into your next presentation. If you know any other cool ways to use technology in your presentations that you've seen, let me know in the comments section, and perhaps I'll even feature them in a future video. So thanks so much again for watching, and see you for my next one.